Well, let me go back a little bit further. I told you about Pu'uhonua School. It was for drunks, dropouts, druggies, and pregnant teenagers that were dropping out of school like flies when they changed the school system in Kona High School from the coffee break system, because Kona was basically a farming community made up of family farms, and their vacation was in October, November, December. That's when the coffee was ripen, and the children would help the farmers, their parents, by harvesting the coffee. So it was a family unit. And when they changed the system to the regular system that went on throughout the entire nation, because Kona was the only high school in the entire nation's educational system that had this special vacation time. Yeah? And when they changed it, and their reason was so that the kids can play football, while only a certain amount of kids could play football. Yeah. And being that it was not during the coffee season, kids got into trouble during the summer. There was nothing to do.
Right, exactly.
And as a result, for a short while, Kona was the marijuana capital of the nation when it came to teenagers. Of course, one of the best brands of marijuana come from Kona. However, it led on to the gateway, which was into ice, and Kona was the capital of the nation again. Ice users, substance abuse. And as a result, we thought, gee, we gotta do something. And we created this school called Haleoho'oponopono, right next to Pu'uhonua Oho'onau, which why we are here today, Pu'uhonua. And give them a hands-on education and get them back in the system. And we went to Bishop Estates for funding, and the reason why we went there was because most of those lands in Kona was under Bishop Estates. It was leased lands and family units that would lease from the estates, and those monies would be redirected to Kamehameha schools, the only school on the planet dedicated to children of Hawaiian ancestry. And we thought, well, most of our kids were Hawaiians, so why not go to the funding source? And as a result, all we told Papa Lyman, who was the chair at the time, we just want to turn the kids from dependents into assets and give them a hands-on. And as a result, we had a few that fell through the cracks and dropped out of school, which is the lowest of the low, yeah? And we were confronted. Hey, drop out. How low can you go? Well, you know what? St. Louis, Puno, Kamehameha, Iolani, which are all Class A schools, start off with the best of the best. And Haleoho'oponopono start off with the best of the worst. And if we can turn around a few, we've done our job. What have you done? End of conversation. Because it was just criticism, you know, but we were doing something. So as a result, fast forward now, I moved back to Honolulu because I'm originally from Honolulu, and I started my life all over again. I was a dropout. In fact, the four of us that started the school were dropouts. So who knows the hardship? There's no book about dropout and hardships, something that you can read. We haven't printed it yet. But as a result, when I moved back to Honolulu, well, first of all, our second year, the staff took it upon ourselves to come up with one of us to volunteer and go get our GED. And when they said, will the volunteer step forward, the other three guys stepped back. And I ended up going to get my GED. I was second in the class of 17, and I knew I had it in me all my life. I ended up with a 3.8. And I just missed it by a few points. One of my fellow classmates, I had a 3.9. But what's the fun point? You know, I mean, we were classic, and as a result, when I left Kona and went back to Honolulu, at the age of 50-something, I said to myself, so what, dummy? What you going to do again? How are you going to stop this all over again? What, dummy, was the important question that I asked myself. So I went back to school and I went to Leeward Community College, and after spending a few years there and majoring in social work, one of my classmates turned around and told me, Marshall, you ought to work at the Capitol. You love to talk. And I said, sounds good. And Peter Uphold, who is a trustee on the Office of Hawaiian Affairs presently, he was the one of the original trustees. Then he got into the legislature. And at that time he was in the legislature. So I went up to Peter, I told Peter, I want a job at the legislature. And he said, shoot, come. And he put me in a Sergeant at Arms with the Sergeant at Arms Division, and that's how I started. And for 18 years I spent there. But in that 18 years I developed a tour program, because I seen all these kids and all the visitors coming to the Capitol. And our Capitol, in any state, is the front door of the state. And I treated it like the front door. Welcome. And one thing led to another, and before you know it, I was a coordinator and conductor of the tour program, and we had thousands of kids that would come. And I told them the plain, simple process of legislation. Legislators only do two things, folks. One we all know, make law. What's the other? Spend money. And we got to change that system from spend to invest. And that's how I got onto this. Fast forward. Last year I developed a resolution to address the high cost of incarceration with very little or no rehabilitation. We're stealing from our future. And our future is that money could be more invested, instead of into incarceration, education. And money that we're stealing affects our future, our children. So anyway, I developed this resolution, and as a result, in January, the day before Martin Luther King, the weekend of Martin Luther King holiday, that Saturday before Martin Luther King holiday, because Wednesday following that Monday is the opening of the legislature. Anyway, what happens is we have a Democratic rally. I'm a devoted Democrat. Anyway, we have a Democratic rally, and I'm talking with some of the legislators about my resolution addressing the high cost of incarceration. We waste in the access since 2008 of $229 million a year for incarceration. And that money could be very well invested for education. So I took it upon myself to draft this resolution, and I was talking it up with some legislators, lobbying before the lobbying. And one of them that I talked with, I kind of mentored him when he was a staff member at the legislature, working for one of the representatives, and kind of showed him the ropes and everything. And I was talking with him, and he turned around and he told me, Joe, let's go get Kulani. And I told him, Joey, I want to be slow and sure instead of haste and waste. And he said, okay, Uncle Joe. So he backed off. Anyway, Sunday, Auntie Julie's reading the newspaper, and she says, Daddy, do you know that Uncle Joey is Joey is the vice speaker in the House? I said, no! And she said, yes. And I went on opening day to Joey's office, and I said, Joey, I rescind my motion. Let's go get Kulani. And he said, Uncle Joe, let's go get Kulani. And then immediately he called out into the outer office, and he called his mother. Mom, come, I want to meet somebody. Mother came to the door, and he said, Mom, this man is the reason where I am today. And his mother said, Uncle Joe, I've heard so much good things about you. Thank you for taking care of my son. And I told that woman, no, thank you for taking care of your son, because if you hadn't you taken care of him, he would not have come to the Capitol. I would not have had the opportunity. Thank you. And we got into the bond, into the struggle, into the journey of taking the 2010 resolution that you submitted, bill that you submitted, and we just polished a little. And I had some of the people upstairs at the House Majority Research Office to bring it all together. And when they called me up to tell me that the bill was ready to be introduced, read the top.
A bill for an act.
No, read the top.
Oh, Uncle Joe HB number?
Yeah. Uncle Joe Bill, that's what they called it. The Uncle Joe Bill. Without a number yet. Yeah, it wasn't introduced yet. But they immediately Joan called it the Uncle Joe Bill. And as a result, what we did was we did companion bills. And one bill is Senate Bill 3016. And the other bill is House Bill 2848. So anyway, what happens is the House introduces, the Senate introduces, and as a result, we go through the hearings, etc., etc. And both bills has passed every committee until last week. One bill has not gone any further than its last committee that it heard, and that was Hawaiian Affairs in the House. And that was moved to Finance Committee, and now that bill, Senate Bill 3016, is stuck in committee. My last understanding is it will not be heard because of the companion bill that went the same distance, in fact, one step further. Also last week, or was it the week before last? Week before last Thursday. It's Thursday? House bill? Where? It passed when? Yeah, the House bill 2848 passed Ways and Means. So in other words, one of the two companions has made the distance. And as a result, time and money, they're not, I don't think they're going to hear the finance, the 3016. But when 2848 passed finance, it passed unanimously. There was only one legislator that was not present, and that was the only one that was excused. But the rest of the committee passed unanimously. So what that means is the bill is one step away from being signed by the governor. That one step is someday between the next 3 days. What's going to happen is either they will caucus and say, okay, that's it, and it goes straight upstairs, 5th floor. Or we need to talk about it, and it goes to conference committee. And conference committee will find out more or less by next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, if it's going to conference committee. If it's not going to conference committee, that means both the House and the Senate have agreed on the gist of the bill, and as a result, it goes to the 5th floor. Now, another good fortune is that although I worked there for 18 years and I know all the players, the other thing is that I retired from the governor's office. So as a result, I got a friend up there too. And during the campaign, I was his cheerleader. And I moved the crowd. I'd go, fired up! In the crowd, 5,000 people, ready to go! I moved them. And as a result, in my last minute, our decision that we made, my cousin who worked for the Department of Hawaiian Homes said that during the campaign we went to lunch, and she said that she was going to go retire at the end of the year, and she wanted to be appointed to the Hawaiian Homes Commissions. And she turns around, she tells me, "You too, cuz?" And I said, "Hey, cuz, I'm a warrior, not a general. I'm a warrior. And my friend said, Uncle Joe, you're a general. And I listened. He said, you're not an ordinary general sitting behind a desk called a shot. You're a general in the field leading a troop, shooting. You're different kind of general. And I submitted my resume. Now I sit on the Hawaiian Homes Commissions as one of the commissioners. And my number one responsibility there will be making more kupuna hale, because that's where we live, kupuna hale, for the adults, for the elder, for kupuna. My number two is to bring home the pa'au. And why my passion for that is we're stealing from our future. The children, that money can be better utilized and invested in our future. And what we gotta do is prepare our past to better our future. And our past is our brothers and sisters that are away. We gotta bring them home. As a result, the resolution, and then later on the bill, and now to where we are today. So I don't see a problem as far as getting the bill signed once it gets out of the legislature. I don't see a problem as far as that. I've talked with upstairs already with some of the people upstairs, some of the key players upstairs, and they said, Uncle Joe, don't worry, when they come, we're gonna call you. So that's the reason why we're here, to further help the struggle, yeah. But yeah, it's only one step away. It's one committee hearing away, and the signing of the bill. That's how close we are, you know. Now, when we went into our first committee, and I found out that there was a little struggle because. The guy who's chair of the committee, he needed a little help. So I went to meet with him. Henry Aquino. I went to meet with him, and we talked about it. And then the vice chair tells me, Uncle Joe, if you cannot get Kulani, would someplace else be okay? And I'm thinking, phew, one foot in the door, because we're past the first committee. That's one foot in the door. Better than 2 feet in the parking lot, wondering what's going on behind the door. At least the door is a little open, right? I turned around and I told him, I am excited. But my real thought was 1 foot in the door. The next day, we went to the Senate committee to hear the Senate bill, 3060. We went through the same struggle. And then the question to Jody, right, was about Pu'uhonua. And Jody had turned around and she said, Uncle Joe should know. So they called me back to the table and asked me about Kulani. And when they asked me about that, would an alternate place be sufficient? I thought, 2 feet in the door. 2 committees, 1 House, 1 Senate. It's on its way. Now just gotta follow through, yeah? So anyway, Saturday, this was Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Cat Brady and I call up Uncle Sam. Cat, Uncle Sam, this is Uncle Joe. He's been working on the bill for the last couple of days now. He's the one that took the 2010 and moved it up to 2012. And, oh, hi Uncle Joe. Hi Uncle Sam. they talked for a little while, and then I came in and I said, Uncle Sam, we're in the room and we're walking up to the table. And I told Uncle Sam, you're not sitting at the table. And he said, what? And I said, Uncle Sam, you're not sitting at the table. And I could hear, what? You know, I could practically see Uncle Sam, what? And then I said, Uncle Sam, listen, you're not sitting at the table because you're sitting at the head of the table. Because Jody, who is in charge, the director of public safety, although everybody looking at public safety, they even put the bill into public safety instead of Hawaiian affairs, as public safety is the focus. How can she tell us about Pu'uhonua? If she know about Pu'uhonua, would we be in the predicament that we are in today? Ask yourself, would we? Of course not. And all others that were before her, previous, if they knew about Pu'uhonua, would we be here today? We would be in a Pu'uhonua. That's where we would be today. But we're struggling to get back to the Pu'uhonua. So I told Uncle Sam, you're not sitting at the table. You're sitting at the head, Uncle Sam. You, the general. I'm just told. I see the table, Uncle Sam. I see your chair. I see them. That close.
Yeah.
That close.
Thank you for all the support and the help we've received so far, Uncle Joe.
Well, Uncle Sam, you know what? You know, another thing that prompted me into doing this. Jim, do you remember the last person who used the Pu'uhonua as a refuge? Do you remember who is the last person? Or even you, Kini?
Yeah, from Molokai on the Kaho'olawe.
Absolutely. Who was? You forget.
I forget the name.
Sam Keloa.
Yeah, Sam Keloa.
He was the last one to go into the Pu'uhonua for refuge.
Yeah.
And the Federalists came and took him out. But do you know who was the ones that fed him while he was there? Hale o And that's another reason why it prompted me, Uncle Sam. Because that federally broke our kapu by yanking Sam out. Yes. And what we have to do is bring the kapu back.
Aye.
And that's why when I found out about Ohana Hopakele, I said, I don't need an invitation, I'm just going.
Right on.
Here I am.
Right on. Thank you, Uncle Joe.
Thank you, Uncle Sam.
Thank you so very much. Ete. Thank you for Uncle Joe. Yeah, you know, with all the support, there's been struggle. They all said, yeah, we're not Hawaiian or things like that. I don't care. You're Pu'uhonua, you're hot. You're hot. And your thoughts and your love for your fellow man. Yeah, because they took our powerhouse to North America. They abused them to the max. You know, they abused them to the max. Like I explained to the judge when I was in court the other day. You're like a dog, you know. But because he barks too much, they put him in a cage. You know, and then they antagonize him. They put him in the cage, and pretty soon, as you let that dog out, he's gonna bite anybody that's near him because he's afraid. You know, that's what happened to Alva. And he made a simple request: let me hold my son. But the cooperation got between him and his son. So he has to go to the mill. You need to serve time in it. So he served 9 months, and they promised him that he would didn't meet his obligations. Now he just, you know.
Where is he, Representative? Where is he?
He's at the Pu'uhonua. He just called me this morning.
Oh, he's out already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I came home same. I brought him home.
Okay.
I brought him same day.
You know, the reason why I asked that question is this year. Remember what happened to Nunuha? Nunuha. The one got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what privatized prisons do. And I don't know if you know this or not, and if you don't know, you can learn something. If you know, it's something that I'm going to enforce that you know that is true. What's your name again?
Denise.
Denise. Denise has been serving a 10-year sentence. It's year number 7 now. She's up for parole. She got 9 more months to serve before she'd be released on good behavior. And then they send June to Denise's cell. June is the troublemaker. Denise gonna get released now. But her full sentence is 3 more years. Yeah? June is a troublemaker. She won't defend herself like that dog. They gonna come on the knees and say, cannot let you go, girl. 3 more years. And you know what? From our pocket.
Yeah.
They do that purposely for increase their greed.
True story. True story.
That's what they do here. Because they like the money. And we gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. Instead of sending the troublemaker, we gotta send the troubleshooter. Because I've been known to be a troublemaker from back in the 70s, in the struggles that we went through. When I got on a commission, people come up to me and tell me, so what? You still making trouble? I said, no. Stroke of the pen would move me from troublemaker to troubleshooter. Now I'm the troubleshooter. But yes, be mindful of that. That's what privatized prisons do. For extend the time and get more money. That's what you're going through, Kini, when you go visit them guys. Yeah. You know, I hear a story from some other people that I get connections with. They tell me, they send a troublemaker. Anyway, I'm sorry, Uncle Sam.
No, I don't. You know, Ohana Pakele was in a motion already. It was started by the Kupunas because we were just fed up. We were just fed up with the powers to be just abusing our young people. That's you know, we had children having children. Children having children. They can't even care for their children. They're still children themselves, but they're parents. And then pretty soon it ends up with the grandparents raising the children, the grandchildren. And it's because the discipline and the nucleus, the system of the Ohana was broken up. And I don't want to keep blaming the missionaries, but the missionaries were instrumental in this. They told us to put on clothes. You know, we like being naked. You know, it's healthy. And pretty soon they told us to put on clothes. Now you look who's running around naked. You look who's running around naked. You know, and so we just Kupunas just got together and said we gotta save the pula, save the young ones. Yeah. And so this is how Ohana Pakele got started. We got Ron and Jim and Kini. There's several others who's come and gone. We are the only ones left here because we believe in what we're doing, and we love our fellow men, and we know that our brothers and sisters are supposed to be here because their roots are here. By that I mean their family and everything, and it takes family to heal. Family contributes to the healing. Yeah. So this is the way that we wanted to do it. And so the Pu'uhonua has worked for thousands and thousands of years. When we use Pu'uhonua, people say, "Oh, what are they talking about?" Refuge, city of refuge. You have the refugees, when they run from country to country, like especially in Africa, and the refugees in Iraq, and just this world is tumbling over. But we cannot let anybody else tell us what to do, because we know what's right for us. We live in this climate, and we live on this dirt here. We know what's right for us. We don't need someone from 3,000 miles or 2,800 miles away to tell us what to do. And we gotta watch who comes into our house. We need to be now, especially now, very selective in who comes to visit.
A couple of weeks ago, I was on the phone talking to these young men that I went help last year with Hawaiian Bill. And he told me, "Uncle Joe, you know what is Hawaiian infrastructure?" And I'm thinking, wow, this is a new one. I'm listening. I'm not talking about all. I'm listening. He told me, wind, rain, and rock. Oh, the thing hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said, it reminds me of this poem, Daniel. A poem that I heard back in the mid-60s. It's called We the Willing. When you're willing to do anything. Yeah. And the poem goes like this: we the willing, led by the unknowing, is doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We've done so much so long with so little, we can do anything with nothing. That's the kind of people that we come from. Wind, rain, and rock. Not concrete, steel, glass. It was wind, rain, and rock. And when he told me that, I said to myself, my God, that poem I remember from way back then finally comes into play. That's how we did it. Everything with nothing. And what was nothing? Wind, rain, and rock.
Yeah, we need to bring all of this back, and it's us. It's us. We gotta do it, yeah. We don't have to make anything exciting. We don't need to impress anybody. We don't have to impress anyone. Just do what our hearts and our conscience tell us. We have a culture. That's number one. We have a culture. We have somewhere to go. Hawaii Day is the only one that shares its mother with everyone. You look at everyone at this table there. We're mixed race. We're so mixed, it's unbelievable. But we survive or even make that foundation solid for what? For what's our sisters back there. That's who we set this foundation for. And it's gotta be right. It's gotta be right. If it's not gonna be right, let's not do it. Find something else that we could do, yeah? So, I thank you all very much. Well, and we can sit, we don't need to be, oh my golly. Is that the time?
When you enjoy something, I'm going to say the time flies.
5 to 10, yeah.
5 to 10?
Yeah.
Could I ask Uncle Joe?
Yeah.
Yes.
What if we get that next inch and it gets signed? What's the next steps then? What does it really do?
Good question. Thank you, Jay. The next step is public safety has been asked, in the just at the onset. Should this bill pass, we're going to give you a year to come up with a study on how we're going to approach the wellness center. That's what they're looking at. But for the culture, Pu'uhonua. Okay, and just a play on words and a play on culture. That's all it is. So what's going to happen, Jim, is for a year or thereabouts, we're going to have to sit down and talk story. And that's the reason why at the beginning, when we passed the first hurdle and we went over the second hurdle, and I made my first introduction to Uncle Sam, I said, "You're not sitting at the table, Uncle Sam. You're sitting at the head." Because, and even Jody, because in a couple of occasions, while we were at testifying, and Jody would be called back to the table, and she would be placed with a question that was culturally pointed to, she would go like this, "Ask Uncle Joe." So in other words, and then when the time came at the, was it Finance or Ways and Means? I'm not sure which committee it was, but she was relinquishing her position as the chair of that committee that we're going to be forming by saying, "We're stepping back." So it was Ways and Means. Was Ways and Means, because what happens is the Hawaiian Affairs Committee chair calls me up and he tells me, "Uncle Joe, do you have a problem if Office of Hawaiian Affairs and Health Department would take the lead?" I said, "No problem. No problem." And the reason why I'm saying that is because we can work with Office of Hawaiian Affairs, and I've worked with Department of Health already. 3 years in a row. My first working with Department of Health was the respiratory bill to license respiratory technicians because of I was in a hospital. When I made my Joan of Arc, and she told me that they got to go back to the legislature after 16 years trying to get licensed, I said, "You mean to say with all of sheepskins getting in this hospital, if I stop breathing, you not here, I die?" And they license fingernail cutters, and they cannot license hot breathers. What? What's wrong with that picture? We went in, 2 years, got on pass. Last year we went in, 1 year, got on pass. This year, I joined the fray, and we're going to get on pass. So anyway, the study, yeah, and according to the last that we read, Ron, those different areas, it's a cross section of the community, and now remember in my introduction I said Hawaiian Homes Commission. My number 1 is Mo Kupunahale. My number 2 is Bring Home the Powerhouse. And I mentioned this last night to some of us. Who is the real ones to take the lead for this movement to reintroduce the Pu'uhonua system, the place? I say Hawaiian Homes, even though Hawaiian Homes is in a turmoil, and you know, all of this going on, because if you look at the structure of the state departments, in the entire state structure, there is only one department in the law developed and passed by Congress. You will find the word rehabilitation in its purpose.
That's true. Yeah.
Purpose of Hawaiian Homes Commissions and the Hawaiian Homes Department, the purpose is for the rehabilitation of people of Hawaiian ancestry. Just the word rehabilitation is what we are just saying, rehabilitation. And that's the only department in the entire state structure where that word, that important word, is present. So how can any other department be the one to take the lead when by law And who are we talking about? We're talking about the Hawaiian incarcerated, but we're not leaving out the rest. Because what Uncle Sam says about Reverend and about Jim, you know, at the last Democratic Convention, there's this discussion going on about, and this was a matter of Congress, by defining who was qualified to lease Hawaiian homelands, 50% plus. Yeah. So there's a discussion on the floor on Hawaiian affairs, and the discussion is 50%ers versus 49ers. Those are less than 50, right? And you can hear the hostility in the voices. And I tell Auntie June, wow, you listen now. When I go up to the microphone, listen to what I got to say. You see, she's non-Hawaiian. Okay. So when I go up to the microphone, I go like this. Okay, we got one more Hawaiian, we gotta continue it. And the convention go quiet. One more Hawaiian, we gotta continue it. What do you mean? Only get 50%ers and 49ers? What are you talking about? Not so what? I say, I'm going to tell you what Hawaiian that is, and pay attention to what I say. And in fact, repeat it after me. You get 50% Hawaiian, capital N. You get 49ers or less, small n. And the last Hawaiian? Repeat it after me now. Non-Hawaiian. Non-Hawaiian. What's a non-Hawaiian? What can you say is a non-Hawaiian? You know what's a non-Hawaiian? Tell me.
A non-Hawaiian? I don't know that I can answer that.
Tell me.
I think it's someone who lives here and maybe owns land or cares and works, and we care about justice.
That's called a hanai.
Oh, okay.
No more cocoa.
No more cocoa, no more blood, but born here. The place of your birth. So you get the third Hawaiian, non-Hawaiian.
And what to that?
And if you have a problem with that, you Hawaiians, anybody here not full Hawaiian, get out your knife, cut off the piece that non-Hawaiian and send them home. Shibonia, non-Hawaiian. And you know what? You're lucky, because that's your connection. No, but, and then the other one that you said, you're right, adopted. You have made your Hawaii your home. Now when the day comes, that sovereignty comes, that the nation come back, that the kingdom come back, you get choice.
You know, I'd like to take that opportunity, Uncle Joe. I passed a piece of document, legislature, that in the House. Exactly what Uncle Joe just mentioned. I'll give you a few minutes to read it, and then we'll just go on what Uncle Joe said.
You know this resolution? You see the title of the resolution? Make a guess whose resolution is. That's my resolution. That's what put me into the struggle, was the resolution. It's just in the high cost of incarceration. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, this is not my resolution. I'm sorry. I thought it was mine. But anyway, yes. Hawaiian National.
Exactly what Uncle Joe is talking about.
Hawaiian National.
Yes. A lot of people say, oh, it's only a resolution. It's okay to be ignorant, but it's not okay to stay ignorant. We have a lot of ignorant people running around. A lot. And I'm sorry to say, they're Hawaiians. But because they love the word, they love the aloha, they don't make waves. Hawaiians don't make waves. They don't make waves. When you step out a toe, we react. Yeah. So as long as you don't draw blood from us, it's okay. Because it could work its way out. Now, this is what Exactly. I read this piece of document and it's just like our Prime Minister had written this. Just like my Prime Minister had written this. And so they turned this out to a resolution. Now when annexation took place, annexation in 1887 or 1889 or so, it was on a resolution. A resolution. And they said, oh, it's only a resolution. But look how long that resolution, that fake thing has been here. 119 years. Only a resolution. But these are the real people that's doing this. And what Uncle Joe just said, you're born here, this is your home.
Yeah.
But the laws within the reinstated lawful Hawaiian government only one citizenship. I am no longer, up until November 12th, the year 2000, November 11th, the year 2000, I was an American citizen. After that, I renounced my U.S. citizenship and was never an American citizen. This is why when Judge Frady says, oh, I gotta get you a public defender. No, Your Honor, I don't need a public defender. Oh yeah, I say, oh no, all I need is you, this court, and me, and we set this baby tonight, right this morning. And oh, how are you gonna do that, Mr. Kaleleiki, with the law that you passed unanimously? Legislature passed this law, Act 359, in July of 1993. It was also introduced into an apology bill that was signed by the President of the United States, passed by two houses. Uncle Joe mentioned Congress. The only word in the Homestead Act is rehabilitation in what we're doing. See, so you need to understand the words. You need to look real fine and understand its impact. We understand. We understand. And we digested it. This is why we're here today. And this resolution is what the reinstated lawful Hawaiian government, word for word, has been saying since March 13th, 1999. See, when they came out with that resolution, Public Law 103-150, apologizing, President's gonna apologize for the American people to the Hawaiians for the illegal overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii. If it was in court, I was the judge. I says, Marilyn, how do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? No. Guilty or not guilty? It's written in law. Illegal overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Yeah, so this is why they can take our brothers and sisters away from their home. It's against international law to take a person from his home. Against international law. If there was no international law, there'd be no small nations. The smallest nation in the world today, because of international law, has the same say as the largest nation. East Timor is the smallest nation in the world. It has just as much as authority and power as the United States, Russia, England, or France. This is why I mentioned earlier, we need to understand law. I'm not a lawyer, but I learned, I'm 76 years old now, I learned all of this when I was 62. I turned 62 is when I learned all of this. And I asked who? God Almighty. Give me the wisdom, the strength, the courage to move forward. Show me. And not too long after that, our kupunas gathered us up and we at the Eleanor talked about the Pu'uhonua. So this law, and it's not, if the state legislature passed this bill, they're out of a job. They're out of a job. And what this looks like is they want to slide either Hawaiian Homes or Oha in there. You can't do it. Because right now, a police officer cannot arrest me. Because he's an American citizen. And I'm a citizen of the nation. A Hawaiian Nationals. You cannot. International law, you be violating human rights violation. So when Judge Freitas told me, well, how are you going to do this, Mr. Kaleleiki? I said, simple. Simple, Your Honor. That license plate is more legal than the license plate the state has. Because the state don't exist. Yeah. So we kid ourselves and we just trying to see tomorrow. I know all of us, when we get up in the morning and we ask God, give us our tomorrow. That's 24 hours from now. Yeah, so these are the kind of things we need to compile in our little thoughts and analyze it and why we're doing what we're doing. We're going to go up to Kulani. Ron.
I want to go back a little bit to Jim's question about, where do we go from here? But I wanted to, for those of you who don't know, Laurinette Dietrich just came, and her father is incarcerated. So she's been very active in trying to get compassionate release. I heard the bill failed, It failed in the finance committee. Yeah, just yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, so, anyway, but Dietrich, this is Uncle Joe Tassill and Auntie June. But I've been trying to follow the bills as it went through all the committees, right? And the thing that I got a little worried about, because I know you and Kat Brady put the task force into the bill, on one of the bills, right? Yeah. And it names Ohana Hopakele and 4 representatives, right? Plus 4 others, I think, 4 others from restorative justice groups. Yeah. And then at one point, I think they wanted to take out that many and keep it kind of only a state task force. So I think they said it was too big, so they wanted to shrink it, yeah? That's one. And the second one that you just named is at the last Ways and Means Committee. See, I haven't seen the final amendment, so I'm anxious to read the amendment, because that's when I saw in Jody Maisaka Hirata's testimony that Department of Public Safety should not take the lead on this, and that Department of Health and Office of Hawaiian Affairs should take the lead. So I was immediately, red flag went up, and I said, hey, she's trying to punt, yeah? She's trying to punt and get it out of Department of Public Safety so they can do what they want to do as usual, which is build another prison on Maui at the Punene Industrial Estate, where Department of Hawaiian Homes has land and has already sunk 13 million into it, and go ahead and extend the prison elsewhere, yeah? So anyway, I got real nervous, yeah, about this. So we gotta, I think, talk about this. Uncle Joe feels less nervous about this, that he thinks that with Hawaiian Homes and Office of Hawaiian Affairs, that it's still all right to go forward. But I feel if without the pressure on Department of Public Safety, if they get off of this task force, there's no pressure on them to change the way they're doing things and force them to deal with the Pu'uhonua, right? So anyway, yeah, that's what I thought we need to talk more seriously about that, yeah?
Well, Mervyn is right in as much as relinquishing the responsibility. But both Captain and I also feel that the responsibility should be the culture, being that it's a cultural practice. Yeah, it should be the culture, and according to what we read from public safety house. Public safety is included with the structure of who's going to be sitting at the table. Only thing in House Bill 2848, it stated Ho Pakele. Yes, it did. It did state that Ohana Ho Pakele would be a driving force within this committee of fact finding. Yeah. And I feel comfortable about that. I really do feel comfortable. The main thing is we have the table. And nothing can be moved. We know nothing can be moved at this point in time for at least 1 year. Because that's what the study called for 1 year. And within that 1 year, we're going to have to sharpen up the intention. Now, one of the things that we really have to concentrate on, and Uncle Sam says this right, yeah, is in 1920, when they passed the Hawaiian Homes Commissions Act. Remember the key word I said, right? Rehabilitation.
Yeah.
That's the key word. That is the key word, rehabilitation. Because that's what we're looking at also.
Exactly.
But what is the definition to the key word rehabilitation? What is the definition to that word? What was the definition used in 1920 to create the Hawaiian Homes Commissions Act? Okay, the key word, the purpose. The purpose of this act is the rehabilitation of people of Hawaiian ancestry. Now go back to the word rehabilitation. What has happened since 1920 and the enactment of the Hawaiian Homes Commissions Act? Have we taken that which was then and brought it back to that which was prior? Because if I'm not mistaken, and you can look this up in the dictionary, what does the word rehabilitation mean? Does it mean to take one where one is and to bring back to one where one was? Or does it mean to take one where one is and move it forward to where one is now? And if that's what they meant when they utilized the word rehabilitation, then they used the wrong word. The word should have been assimilation.
Or restoration.
You hear me? The word should have been assimilation. Because when I was on Hawaiian homelands in my infancy, my tutu had big land, small house. We built our own house. There was a family of, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a family of 9 in a 2-bedroom house. How does that work? Because the house was for sleep. The rest of your life was in the yard. And we had pig, cow, cat, dog, chicken, duck, turkey, rabbit, which was part of the food chain. Today, hey, somebody go take that out of here. What? And you still eat the pig? But when it's in the pan, it smells hauna. But when the luau come, some more. What? So the word rehabilitation needs to be addressed when we sit at the table. What are we talking about? Are we talking about taking the pa'au and bringing them back to where the family is? Or are we saying to assimilate them into the system? And if we're saying assimilate them to the system, they change the word from rehabilitation to assimilation. Because that's where the big hakaka, that's where the big trouble is. The use of that word rehabilitation. Anyway, that is what, Jim, that's what we have to address when it comes to Pu'uhonua.
Yes.
Are we taking and assimilating into the new system, or are we taking and establishing the old system.
Yeah.
And that's my understanding of the word rehabilitation. That's the key.
I'm sorry, I have a class I gotta get ready to teach, so.
But Marilyn is a sociology.
Yep, here we are at Kulana, the infamous Kulana. Little wet, little cool. Nice though. Yep. Yep. It's me. Oh, nice. Oh, way back there it goes. Wow. Nice. Hilo walking in. Yep.
Yeah, this is all central building. This is all offices. Offices. This is administration
New
building.
home of the Pu'uhonua.
Administration building. Sorry that I go so far. This is our admin dog, Christine Pu'uhonua. She was up here with me too when had the prison. She was 3 years.